The PoPolitickin Show is brought to you by Audible. With over 180,000 titles to choose from, Audible is great for any continuous learner wanting to grow and expand their knowledge and insight. Go to www.audibletrial.com/POAudio and get an audiobook of your choice free with a 30-day trial. After the trial, your paid membership will begin at $14.95 per month. With your membership, you will receive 1 credit every month, good for an audiobook on Audible. Cancel before your trial ends and you will not be charged. So go to www.audibletrial.com/POAudio and download a free book by Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Napoleon Hill, Les Brown, Damon John, and more. Always remember that knowledge is power.
PoPolitickin.com.
Donald Fusilier, I'm on PoPolitickin. Check them out.
Welcome back to PoPolitickin.com, your home for self-help meets hip-hop. Make sure you subscribe to our app, download, like, subscribe to this interview. I'm now politicking my homie Donald Fusilier.
Fusilier,
got it right. He
Yeah.
plays for the Iowa Barnstormers, and he has his own business, TheTeamFuseCamp.
Yeah.
All right, man. So we about to just dig deep. So just let us know about your background. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Donald Fusilier. I'm originally from New Iberia, Louisiana. It's a little small town. I was in New Iberia, grew up in New Iberia till I was about 9 years old, and then we moved to Lafayette. Man, that's when I started playing football at 9 years old. So after we moved there, my mom used to suffer with nervous breakdowns and different things like that, and like we were like back and forth between New Iberia and Lafayette, and she passed away in 2010 with a massive heart attack. But yeah, I wound up my aunt. I stayed with her a lot of the time, and I went to high school and stayed with her and at Westgate in New Iberia, Louisiana. And after Westgate, I was a kid. I didn't get any scholarships coming out of high school, so I wanted to go to Southern University, but the paperwork and everything, like they was playing around with my paperwork, so I wound up sending in an application for admissions to Nicholls State University. And after about a couple of weeks before school started, like a week before school started, I received the application for admissions to get into Nicholls State, and I wound up I was just going to school as a student there. But my ultimate goal was to play in the NFL. I always wanted to play in the NFL, so I was just going to school. Then I wound up playing like some intramural flag football, and guys were like, "Man, you need to go get on the team." But at the time, Nicholls was running like an option offense. I played wide receiver. They never really threw the ball. And at the time, I was going out there to walk on, but it was something dealing with some type of insurance that I would had to get, and I wasn't able to get it. So that didn't work out. So back in 2016. That was like 2006. That was my last semester at Nicholls. I went home and I was working at the movie theater, the Grand Theater in Lafayette, Louisiana. Just going to school, and I wound up hearing about this semi-pro team called the Lafayette Hurricanes. So I went there and did a tryout, and I played with them in 2007, and I devised a plan. I said I'm gonna give me some film and try to get back in the college, try to get on a team and play some ball so I can get live my dream. So in the midst of that time, when I played for the Hurricanes, we made it to the championship game and won the championship. I played in the All-Star game back in it was 2007. It was July 2007 in Houston. I played in the All-Star game. Met this guy named Adrian Lunsford that played arena ball. And I was talking to him on and off, sent him my film. I got this guy before I went out there. I looked up a guy in the Yellow Pages, and he made a highlight tape for me. I sent him my film, and we put a highlight tape together. And I brought some disc out there just in case I meet somebody, I could pass them out. So I gave one to Adrian and just had him like review my film and stuff. And by me not playing ball, I could go to a junior college and automatically be eligible to play. So I had sent me and my aunt, one of my mom's sisters, we put together these packages and started sending them to teams and different stuff like that. And nobody responded. So I had been talking to Adrian off and on for like 6 months. We stayed in contact, and then he told me he only knew like some 4-year schools. And if I'd had to go to a 4-year school right off back, I'd had to sit out, get 24 hours in a 2.0 so I could be eligible, but I can go to a junior college and automatically be eligible right away. So he introduced me to these guys that work for a recruiting service. I didn't know nothing about recruiting services, that kids with opportunities could actually pay somebody to actually get a scholarship, to get some exposure. So in the midst of that, he introduced me to this guy named Ray Hardy. So I told my aunt about him, and she said I had nothing to lose. So he wanted me to go and wire him $300 so he could get me in the school. So I had nothing to lose. I went to Walmart. I sent him the money. That day, 5 schools called me. 5 schools. There was 4 JUCOs and 1 NAIA school, and I chose Victor Valley College in California because they showed the most interest. So I wound up going to Victor Valley back in '09. I played there in the fall of '09. Then I got a scholarship to Lindenwood University, a 4-year school down in St. Charles, Missouri. So in the midst of my my uh, my time that I spent at Nicholls State and that one semester in junior college, you only get like a certain amount of semesters to play ball. It'll count against you even if you're not playing. So when I went to Lindenwood, it was going to be my last. The coach, he got it situated to where I could play and I would use the fall semester 2010 as my last eligibility for for competition. So in the spring of 2010, I enrolled in Lindenwood, went through spring practices and everything, and I went to summer school, and then I played. The fall semester was coming around, so there's a period like around it was like around July 29th, to where there's a dead zone where coaches and players can't have any contact. So this was July 29th. We had our last practices. Like we could formally we can get together on our own, but coaches can't be present. So July 29th, that was the last practice of the summer, really. And then August 3rd, I found out about my mom's passing. I knew something was weird because I got a phone call in the morning. My mom she would call me from the house phone. So it was actually a call from her cell phone, but it was actually my brother. And he told me that my mom was that she wasn't breathing or anything like that. So I'm a very positive person. I was optimistic about it, and I was like, she gonna make it through. So about an hour later, he called me back, and he said the doctor the doctor said he's done all that he could do for her. So I was like, what that mean? And then he like paused for a second. I was like, I mean, she did. And he paused for a second, and he was like, yeah. And I was just like, man, I dropped to the floor. I dropped to the floor. My roommate at the time, I went outside, and I told my roommate. And then I wound up getting on the phone with my aunt, and she was like, we got to get you home. So she died on August the 3rd, a week before my birthday. She was buried on August the 6th. So I went back home and dealt with my mom's funeral and everything, and um, I was home with family and stuff like that. And once I got that situated, then I eventually came back to school. We did really good. We wound up finishing 9-2, and we lost in the first round of the NAIA playoffs. I went to Lindenwood. It was an NAIA school, a small 4-year school, but we were ranked number 2 in the nation at the time. So after that, I made a decision that I'm gonna try to pursue my football career. So I started training, and I got invited to this game, this All-Star game called the All-American Bowl. The game is normally played at the Minnesota Vikings, their stadium, but there was the time when the roof had collapsed. So they didn't cancel the game. What they did was they made us play at the Minnesota Golden Gophers practice facility. The only thing with that, the roof was kind of tight, so I was back there returning punts. The punter had to punt the ball like 3 times. He had to punt the ball 3 times because he kept hitting the ceiling. But we wound up playing the game. I'd take that rather than them canceling the game. But we wound up playing the game. I started going to workout. So I found out about this free agent workout in Atlanta for some Canadian Football League and an arena league team. So I went down to Houston and trained with one of my fraternity brothers. His name is TC. He works at Optimum Pro Am Sports. He trained guys like Vince Young and Fred Smoot, who played for the Washington Redskins. Pretty good. And went down there, trained with him for a little bit. Got ready for my workout. Got somebody to film the video, and put it on YouTube. And I just started hitting up teams. I started hitting up indoor teams because I was humble enough that I was gonna play somewhere. I just wanted to get seen so somebody can give me an opportunity. So I wound up I was in the gym. I was at Planet Fitness on Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, Louisiana. It was February 3rd. I did that workout on January 29th. This is 2011 now. So I got a call from John Blazek. He was the general manager at the time for the Wichita Wild. The team name is not a Wichita Forest. They play in the CIF as one of the indoor leagues. And he told me that he was sending me over a contract. So I signed with Wichita. That was the first team I played for. It was funny because my head coach picked me up from the airport. And he was like, "Where you going with all these baskets?" Well, people don't understand. It's still like it's how the NFL. You still, even if you get signed, you got to make the roster, or you can be cut. Yeah, you still got to make a roster. He's like, "Where you going on?" I was like, "Coach, I'm not going home. I'm not going home." Like, I had confidence in myself. I'm gonna make the team. It was the first time in my life that I was in a position where I wasn't a starter. Like, I did everything Coach would tell me. Like, you did everything, but he was going with like guys that was veterans and stuff like that. So I just stayed the course. We started out the season, we was 0-5, and they wound up letting go the head coach. So they took the defensive coordinator and moved them to the head coach. And there was this guy named Wendell Davis. He's one of my good friends right now. He played for the Cowboys and the Redskins, and he went to the University of Oklahoma. And Coach Lawler, who wound up being the intern and the head coach, he brought in Wendell to be one of his assistants. And we used to work out before practice and do different stuff. And Wendell's like, "Y'all need to play this guy." So the first game after Lawler, he said, "I'm gonna go with some vets." They won that game, and then from there on out, we had a game down in Allen, Texas. I got in during the middle of the game. The passes that they threw me, I caught, and then I became a starter. So then, but we missed because we started out 0-5. We finished 6-3, but we missed the playoff by 2 games. But we wound up beating a couple of playoff teams at the end of the season. So I wound up signing back with Wichita back in 2012, and I got cut. So instead of I didn't go home. I had an agent at the time. I called him, and he got some teams on the phone. And the team that had won before last year, Sioux Falls Storm, had won like 6 championships in a row before Arizona Rattlers came in from the Arena Football League and won the championship in the IFL. So I went down to Sioux Falls. So how indoor ball works, you report to camp. It's 2 weeks basically before the first game. So your first week is really training camp. And the second week, although it is called camp, is really the team you getting prepared for your first game of the season. So I went down to Sioux Falls, and I was already in camp with Wichita, and coach called me. Yeah, the coach from Wichita. I went downstairs, and he was like, "I love you like a son, but we're going in another direction." I'm not one a kid to ever burn bridges, so I told him, "Thank you for the opportunity." Like, I don't, because you never know who you'll run across ever
Right.
again down the line. So I go down to Sioux Falls. It's crazy how stuff works because I go down to Sioux Falls, but at the airport people are like, if you take this flight that's an hour later, we'll give you $450 in flight vouchers. So I took that. I took that. So I go down to Sioux Falls. Every ball they threw me, I caught every ball, but coach was just like it was a numbers game because you only keep like 21 guys. So when camp start, you probably have like 35 to 40 guys, but you only keep 21 on the roster, but 19 dress on game days. So he told me it was nothing. He was like, it was nothing that I did wrong, but it was just a numbers game. I was the last guy out, so he was like, if you need me for a reference or anything, he was like, he said you can hit me up. Coach Riggs from Sioux Falls told me that. So at this point, I was just like, man, I humble myself. I need to play. I'll play in any league. I just need somebody to give me an opportunity. So I went back. I went back to Wichita, got on the computer, started contacting teams. So I ran across this team. There was this new league that was starting. It was called the Ultimate Indoor Football League, the UIFL. And there was one team, the Florida Tarpons, that was based out of Fort Myers, Florida. So this guy named Brent Burnside, I would find what coaches had like Facebook pages, and I would send him my film and stuff like that. And then he wound up hitting me back. And every time you have different living situations when you go on these teams. Some teams are more organized than others. It's basically get it how you live. It ain't even about the money. It's really about getting the opportunity to be seen. Your film is more important than anything. So a CFL or NFL team could actually come out and get you. So he was just like, "Hey, come out. We're gonna make it work." So I go down to Fort Myers, Florida. The first 2 weeks, I slept on the floor.
Mm.
I slept on the floor. They had like a contract with the Microtel. So I go down there. I slept on the floor the first week. So I wound up making a team. It was out of me and this one dude, and I got I passed my conditioning test. He didn't pass his conditioning test. I made a team. I actually caught the first touchdown. For Florida ever, and I wound up finishing the game with 5 catches and 4 touchdowns. I actually led the league in touchdowns. I wound up having 32 touchdowns that year.
Yeah.
So we went undefeated, went to the championship game, and actually lost. We lost. So the coach that we lost to, his name is Billy Back. He's coaching for the Cincinnati Commandos. They had won like 3 championships in a row. So he got a job to the indoor football league. Like the indoor football league is the top indoor league, and he got a job with the Texas Revolution at the time. So I signed with him. So I signed with him, and they after camp they let me go. So I knew I could always go back to Florida. So I I went down to Boston for a little bit and trained, and then when the season got ready for Florida, I went and played for Florida. We wound up winning the championship that year. But in between that time, it was 2013, April 2013. My grandmother passed away. Went home, dealt with that, and I went down to. I'm not sure if you're familiar with IMG Academy down in Bradenton, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
They're the top. Like right now, they have the top rated high school football team in the United States. But they're like a football factory. A guy named Chris Winkie started IMG, played quarterback for
Yeah,
Florida State.
Chris Winkie. Yeah.
Yeah, so I went down and worked out for the Edmonton Eskimos. It was crazy because I've been to paid workouts before. When guys go to paid workouts, it's basically you paying $100. Probably have like 1 or 2 coaches there, and you may have 50 to 100 guys there trying to get maybe one spot, or maybe 1 or 2 spots, and you go through a supplement of drills, and they decide if they gonna sign you or not. So you got to do well. So this workout right here, it wasn't a paid workout. My junior college, the guy who recruited me, Charles Walker at Victor Valley, my junior college, he actually recruited Ed Hervey, who was the general manager at the time for the Edmonton Eskimos. So they got it set up to where I came in and did a workout at IMG. They were going through and doing a little spring. They was doing like some spring training with a couple of vets, but it was mostly like rookies and first year players that was doing it. And so after they put me through a series of workouts, my favorite college is the University of Miami, so I got the Miami hat on right now. But Ja'Cory Harris, who was one of the quarterbacks at the University of Miami, he threw me. He was with Edmonton at the time, and he threw me my passes. So I caught every ball. They told me I did everything they needed to, and they basically told me, like, gave me a verbal like that they was gonna sign me. They was gonna sign me, and they told me the only thing they had to do was check with any of my past coaches and just check like if I had any type of character issues, and I wasn't concerned about that because I'm coachable. I don't have those type of problems. Um, so they told me that they were gonna that Tuesday they were gonna go back. They were gonna go back to Canada. They was gonna have their team meeting, and he was gonna be giving me a call on Tuesday. So in between that time, man, I when I left the workout, I called my dad and I started crying because I'm like, man, I finally got my big break. Like I'm going to the CFL, but I held off and like I never told nobody anything. So only person I knew was Coach Walker. And Coach Walker told me that Ed actually called him. Ed called him and actually told him like, hey, your boy did what he needed to do and was like it was good. So I'm waiting for Ed to hit me up Tuesday. I didn't hear from him. So another week went by. I didn't hear from him. And Coach Walker was like, don't worry about it right now because it still was like a month out. It was April. Rookies didn't have to report until like whenever they get signed. Rookies wouldn't have to report until like May 20th, May 21st, around that time. So I didn't hear nothing from him. So he was like, man, shoot him a text because that's basically how those like GMs and stuff, they basically if it's not a text message, it's through email. That's how they respond back to you. It's rare that you talk to somebody on the phone. So communication is done through there. So I hit him up and just like not try to make it seem like I was calling him to ask him about it. And then his response back was, son, our roster is full. So when I talked to Coach Walker, he was like, he couldn't believe it. Like he was like in shock or whatever. So he was like, this is what you do. You try to shoot him a text, tell him you'll fly yourself down to Canada for them just to put you on a practice squad, just so you can get an opportunity. So then I sent him that. I sent him that info. He texts back a couple of days later. Son, our roster's full. Never heard from him. Never heard from him again. Never talked to him. But that crushed me. That crushed me. I really knew how cutthroat the professional how the professional industry is. How it is. It's cutthroat. And that was tough. That took a lot out of me. But I never let it stop me. So I wound up going back to Florida. We won the championship. Went back home. I was in Lafayette at the time, so I was in Lafayette. As soon as I get to the airport, I get a call from the Arena Football League to come. They do like if somebody bring you in, they bring you in like on a 3-day waiver. So Orlando had called me, and I'm like, I was already in. And Fort Myers is crazy. When they called me as soon as I touched down at the airport. So I was home for like a couple of days, and I went down to Orlando, did a workout for them. And they said it was more so for them to see somebody in case something happened to be later on down the future. So I went down and did that workout. And in between this season, I went down to Mobile, Alabama, and worked out for this coach for the Cleveland Gladiators. So after the season, I was looking and seeing, man, what teams is not doing too hot at the end of the season that they might bring in some guys in the big arena league that played on TV. So Cleveland was one of the teams, and I wound up talking to Coach Selesky, and I was like, Coach, would you be interested in bringing me in? So they brought me in on what they call a 3-day waiver, and they bring guys in on a 3-day waiver, and they decide if they're gonna sign you at the end of those 3 days. So you practice with the team, get reps, and then they decide if they're gonna sign you. So this is in 2013. So like the summer of 2013. So I go down to Cleveland. I go through day 3, come through. The head coach called me in the office. He was like, we're not gonna be able to sign you, but I want you to stick around for the game this weekend. Depending on what happened, then we may sign you. So Sunday comes, so they lost. They lost Saturday. Sunday comes, we go eat team dinner, come back. I text Coach Selesky. I was like, did Coach Tun tell you anything? And he was like, let me check with him. So then he was like, Don, I don't think we're gonna be able to sign you. Coach will be over to explain. So coach come in the room, he was like, I wouldn't hesitate to sign you at all, but I want to go with the guys that we've been that we've been having. So when you go to these workouts or you go to these, you're paying for this, like you're paying for you're paying for like flights and stuff to get to these places, like out of your own money. So I told him, give me a couple of days so I can get situated. He said, no worries, you good. He was like, you can even come to practice this week. You know, I went back to practice that next week. Went back to practice. I would be like after practice, I would work out with the guy who's the backup quarterback at the time, and I would work out with him every day. They wound up winning the game Saturday. Coach brought me in. That was either Sunday or Monday and signed me. So at the time, they actually had 2 games of the season left. So I didn't play in the last home game. But we went down to Utah. There's a position in arena football. It's called jack linebacker. It's almost like a little a linebacker / DB, but you like have a certain area that you have to cover. So in practice, I was taking some reps at defensive back too. And it was like, we're going to start him at jack linebacker. And 1 week, I wound up getting like 2 interceptions in practice that week and like, we're going to start him at jack, and then he's going to rotate in that receiver. So I wound up, when we went down to Utah, we lost the game by 2 points. I played jack the whole game. I didn't even get no burn at receiver. But I wound up having 10 tackles and a fumble recovery. I never played linebacker a day in my life, but I didn't even care. I played linebacker and special teams. I just wanted an opportunity. So now I was at the point to where, like, whenever you finish, the season is over, it's so hard to find a job sometimes. So in this time, like, I didn't find a job. Like, I couldn't find a job until October. So when October came, I was assistant manager at Hibbett Sports at the Norgate Mall in Lafayette, Louisiana. So I'm working at Hibbett's, and I'm like, man, unless I get something that's a reasonable opportunity, I'm just gonna chill. I'm just gonna chill and just work. And if I got a real good job, I'm just chill. The last minute, it was like around, this was October, so around January, I got a call from the guy I know named Dylan Sanders. He used to recruit, and he was a coach at the time for Utah State, and he hit me up on Facebook. And he was like, Colorado was looking for some receivers, so him and the head coach were like they were going back and forth, and he was like, you think that we can get this guy? And Dylan was like, maybe so, because they needed a guy that could beat man-to-man coverage. So they was like, man, go give me the best man-to-man guy. So he got in contact with me and Sunday, and I wound up signing. So I wound up going, telling my coach, wound up telling my manager Joe at the time that I was going back and play ball. So I wound up going to Colorado, playing ball, had fun. And I wound up, one of the games we played against the Green Bay Blizzard, I tied the indoor record with 5 touchdowns in one game. Right now, nobody has had 6 yet in the league, 6 receiving touchdowns. There's 12 players that's tied with the 5 touchdown record right now in the record book, and I'm one of them. So after Colorado, I came back home. I was living in New Iberia, Louisiana at the time, and I wound up being the wide receivers coach at Westgate High School, my old high school. I wound up there, and I put in a application. I did an application for AT&T Call Center, the current job that I work at right now. So I put an application over there, and I wound up signing with the Iowa Barnstormers at the time. This was 2014, but it was going to be 2015. 2014, 2015, I was going to be playing with Iowa in 2015. So in January, I went down to Mobile. I did a CFL workout. I did this workout, in between the time me running the 40, got 20 seconds in to run the 40, I tore my hamstring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I tore my hamstring. I just felt like a little ripping sensation in my hamstring. So, so after that, I was at home. I rehabbed it, and got myself back where I could function properly. And I was talking to my coach, got myself back right. So in between the time for me going to Iowa, Spokane Shock, which was in the Arena Football League at the time, the big Arena League, they called me. So Spokane brought me into camp. I told the trainer at the time. I told him I was like, I had a hamstring injury. I want you to wrap my hamstring. But there's this stuff that's called like some kinesis tape. He put that on it instead. So I was running a route at one time. Like I got myself warmed up. I was good. Feeling good. I ran a route and tweaked it again, and I wasn't the same during camp. And I basically was playing on one leg through camp, and I just farted. Coach told me, he's like, I should have told him something about it, but it wouldn't have. I honestly don't believe it would have helped me because I had to be out there. You got three wide receiver positions and 13 receivers in camp. So me sitting out wouldn't go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I just fought and did whatever I could do through it. And something that I got cut, but in between that time, I had interviewed for the AT&T job and I got it. So I was going through the interviewing process. And since then, I got the AT&T job, and I had been at the call center. I've been at the AT&T call center since March of 2015. So I've been at the AT&T call center, and I had the passion, and I never lost the drive to play ball. But I felt that I have two kids. I have a 2-year-old son and a 10-year-old daughter that I sacrificed a lot. So I just told me if I got a real good job, I was gonna put football on hold. And I hadn't played ball really since 2015, really since 2014. But I worked out and went to camps for teams in 2015. And that itch never went nowhere, and never wound up in Iowa that year. So I was just working at AT&T, and this year around July, I started a personal training business. It started off by I actually went to my old high school, trained a couple of kids for free, and I just got the footage, and that's all I wanted, the footage, so people could actually see. That was more important for it. I put it out there. Then some people started looking at it, and one of my fraternity brothers that work at Broadmoor High School, he got with the head coach. They seen me, and they brought me in to train, to train a football team. So I went and trained them, and it's been taking off ever since and getting better. So majority of my clients right now, because during football season, the majority of my athletes are football players. So it wasn't really too much during football season. I could only really train them on the weekends because they were so busy. You had school during the week.
Yeah.
You got film Saturday morning. So it wasn't really much that we can do in season. So it got slow. So majority of the people that I was training ladies trying to like tone up and get in shape. That's majority of what I'm doing. Not just I train around my schedule right now, but I've been having that itch for football, and I kept myself in shape, got myself in shape, did a workout, hit some teams up, and I signed with Iowa. So I'm going to actually give it one more shot. And I have been another thing I didn't mention. I've been working on a book, my autobiography, called "Never Give Up: The Donald Fusilier Story." And some of the stuff I share with you, it'll be in a book. It'll just be more in depth. But been working on that. It's actually been a little minute because of life and just doing different stuff. I haven't written. Haven't written in a while, but it's still in the works, and I plan on finishing up so I can get it out there because my story need to be told.
That's it. How old are you now?
I'm 33 years old right now.
Oh, so you still got a couple more years in you, right?
I'm 33 years old, and the thing is, unlike some guys that went to big schools, I'm like not the traditional person who would be 33. That like guys went to 4-year schools and got their body banged up. I didn't have I don't have really no, you know what I'm saying. My body's not beat up to. I'm still you know what I'm saying. I still can play.
Is your hamstring okay?
At a high level, huh?
Your hamstring okay now?
Oh yeah, I'm good. That was back in 2015. My hamstring is great. I'm good.
You know what I'm saying? So why is football so important to you?
It's just since I was small, man. It was just in football. Football teach you so many life lessons. Like you come together with guys with multiple different personalities, and it's just I've always been passionate about it since I was small. Like I love it.
So what's some things it taught you?
How when stuff get difficult, you can't just walk away from it. You gotta know how to handle it. And football shows a lot of guys. I love it. because it shows the guys a lot of life lessons. When you can come together with guys that have multiple different personalities to have one common goal, is like it's nothing greater. And like I've been on 2 championship teams. I won 1 semi-pro and I won 1 indoor championship. And those teams we were very close knit. Very, very close knit. It's like we spent time outside of football. That's the teams that actually win, that actually gel, and rather than having cliques and different stuff, and they make a big difference. But I'm just very passionate about it. I enjoy helping people, and ultimately, whenever I'm done playing ball, like I wanna coach and continue training.
Who's your favorite player?
My favorite player growing up, my favorite player all the time is Deion Sanders. Deion Primetime Sanders. It's crazy that I'm a receiver by trade. I've played some DB, but majority of my favorite players were defensive players. Okay. Deion Sanders and Sean Taylor.
So when the season start for Iowa this year?
Iowa starts in February. I actually contacted the league, and they're gonna be putting out the schedule early this week, so I'm looking around Tuesday or Wednesday, and then I'll know something from my actual coach. But I'll be leaving mid to end of January, but the season will start mid-February.
So what made you keep going? Like you said, you had a lot of setbacks. What made you keep going?
I just never. I didn't have. You talking to a kid that never got not one offer in high school. Like no, not one offer. I believe in myself. And I believe if you set out to do something and you just give up on it, then you don't know. I feel like if I didn't give it this last go around, I would be 70 years old and it would be on my conscience, and I can't live like that.
Are you still going for the NFL or CFL, or you
NFL, CFL? Yes, CFL, NFL. Yeah, I'm still going for the NFL, CFL. Actually, one of the coaches when I was at Lindenwood in St. Charles, he was the defensive backs coach. He coaches. He's one of the coaches that coaches for the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. So I'm hoping that I get opportunity. I'm gonna give it my all. I've been putting myself. This has actually been the best off season that I've had as far as taking care of my body. And I think me being a trainer now, like I know more about the body and stuff like that. And like I'm putting myself in position to be successful this year. Yeah. Like I'm hungry. I'm hungry, like a guy just coming out of college. Like I'm hungry. I ain't never been given nothing. So when I'm going against somebody, I'm trying to destroy them. Like that's just my mentality.
Yeah, what do you think about the kneeling situation right now?
The kneeling situation, I think that the people who not for the cause have tried to turn it into something being about the flag, but it's not about the flag because the words that the flag represent are not being portrayed. Like, and I think the kneeling wasn't to disrespect the flag. The kneeling was so people can start, you know what I'm saying, taking a look at these injustices that are going on. It's almost like the stuff that is going on. It's like if you're getting recorded, you're more likely to get off when they see it. It's crazy, and it's people with no guns in their hands are getting killed.
Then
no type of guns, and you're trained in a certain way. If you're trained the right way, there's no way somebody that don't have a gun should be dying.
And then even with Bob McNair, you remember the Houston owner? He was saying
the owner. He just sent that guy
so now I feel like it's getting to where like they basically it's kind of like they getting all that money, but you still a slave. So you can't talk, you can't say nothing. It just go out there and play.
There's so many guys.
Shut up.
So crazy. People like Muhammad Ali and guys like that, and people like that's in our Black history books did so much for the opportunities. Did so much right now for the opportunities to be, and these guys right now actually have the opportunities. But to me, I understand they got families they got to feed, and it's like, and it's hard to determine, especially if you like a guy who's just on the cusp, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there's people, okay, you got people like LeBron James, you got people that's like the big time people that's actually speaking up, that's actually saying something. Not by one bit that I'm racist, one bit. I would like to see like one of the, you know what I'm saying, guys actually not just hold somebody's hand, step up and say that's wrong. Me and you,
like you never like that's the thing too. It's like
you was my friend.
All this stuff going on, none of the white people saying nothing. None of the white people.
Me and you as friends. We had let's say we had the same type of beliefs. if something ain't wrong, it's still wrong. If we do something, I should be able to come to you and say, no matter what we believe, that's wrong, man. So this should be done right. We're not seeing that.
Right.
So you're not saying nothing. You just as part of the problem.
And then I want
And
you.
another thing, what I don't like either is these blacks, like turning on each other, like you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
Inside,
like
like
Ray
they
Lewis and
interviewing
stuff.
them and then they saying bad stuff. Like when Michael Vick said his wife got on him and said that he cut his Cap need to cut his hair. He
Yeah,
had
but
braids. He
even
had cornrows.
I was just looking at that like how the media try to portray stuff because I'm like, why you asking Michael Vick about Colin Kaepernick? It's like Michael Vick is a convict. Like that's like legit. Like you went to jail for some shit you didn't supposed to do. Colin
Yeah.
Kaepernick ain't do nothing.
He
So
never
why are
did
y'all even
nothing, bro.
comparing them like they equal? They ain't equal. So that's why it's like it's funny how they try to play over it.
That's how they do it. You can't fall into that trap, bro. They fall in that trap. You're in the interview. They're gonna ask you something like that. You better be quiet. They're gonna use your words against you. And the media twist it to where they gonna portray this with anything. It's like if I had the intent, like you don't know my intent inside my heart unless I actually tell you with the God honest truth what that intent is. People take it how they want to take it. They'll take your words and twist it.
But I wanted you to talk about like so how much money y'all make in the league and stuff.
It ain't a lot.
What's a game check? Is it a game check or is it like
Yeah, you get so
monthly,
basically
weekly?
they house you. They house you. Like you get free housing. You get like 2 to 3 meals, and you get a game check. But the big part about it is majority of it, like a lot of guys that come out, they're not humble enough to they have the NFL dreams, but they'll take like these indoor leagues and be like, I want to play in the NFL. It's disrespectful, but there's some guys. It's better to be playing in the indoor league than to be sitting at home and not playing. Because
Okay,
after a
no.
while, I don't care how good your film is. If you just sat out, they're like, oh, we want to see what you can do right now. We want to see what you can do right now. So you got to be humble enough to. And them guys come in the indoor league and get the business.
But I
Like
say, what
it
about
ain't sweet.
that? You saw that flag football league, like the one with like Vince Young and like Michael Vick.
I seen that, but I haven't. I only seen something the first week, and I never seen nothing else about it because Michael Vickman was playing in that.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're supposed to do it for NFL guys. See, it's just not a lot of stuff for guys who like on the cusp of giving opportunity. It's a lot of it is just I was just a kid, man. I was like a diamond in the rough and went underneath the radar, but I didn't let my circumstances stop me. What people don't realize, I graduated high school in 2002. When I played with that semi-pro team, you know that was 2008. I didn't get on the field till 2008.
mm.
I got on there when I was at Victor Valley. I was 24 years old. Like I played in there, like considered a freshman on that football field. Was 24 years old. Like it's just, I just have a never die attitude. Like I'm gonna be successful. I'm not gonna let somebody tell me what I'm not gonna be able to do. I'm gonna prove it, but with my work ethic.
Yeah,
Like
you
I'm
remind me of
flat out working.
that show, like the Last Chance U. Like them shows like that. That's kind of
Yeah.
what when I'm talking to you. I think of shows like that.
Yeah. I heard about Last Chance U. I never really looked at it. I just heard about it. It was like the guy at the school in Mississippi. He taking chances on some guys that may have had like at some point didn't do something the right way, whether it's character or something, and
Yeah, it's
give
actually
them
where
another
I'm from. That
opportunity.
place. I'm not. I'm like that place. Like when I was in high school, that was our junior college we went to. So it's like
Oh,
very
okay.
close.
Was that coach
Scuba
there at the
Tech.
time?
Scuba Tech. Nah, he wasn't there when we
He
was
wasn't
playing.
there.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from actually like close to Mississippi State. I actually live in Columbus. It's like 20 minutes from Mississippi State.
Oh, okay. I know. I live in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
All right. So, what would you want to tell everybody that heard your story? What's the lesson to take from it? Take home.
That you can't. That no matter what your circumstance, is no excuse not to be successful. Like you can't. Like there's so many people I see opportunities, and I'm like, man, I give my right arm to have that same opportunity. You got to make the best of your opportunities, no matter what it is. Somebody give you a bag of chips, and you got to make steak and potatoes out of it. Like you got to make the best out of your opportunities. Have a positive attitude. I always sell my kids on grades first. I don't never sell them. They're student athletes. Sell them on grades and try to like build great men because that's where it starts from.
Yeah, who was the best
That's
player
where it
you ever
starts from.
played with?
The best player I ever played with. Played with or talent, most talented. Let me see. Let me
Yeah.
think. Let me think. Let me think about it for a second. That year I was at Lindenwood, man, we had some studs, man. Man, let me see. Best player I played with. But that's hard to determine. It's hard to determine. It's crazy because when some of these indoor teams and I got on these teams and I'm seeing some of the guys that went to like big name schools that got like NFL opportunities and stuff like that, and
They ain't the best
you get
ones.
in there, you get in there and you just realize, bro, a lot of guys at the professional level don't have like great work ethics.
Then you talking about when you said indoor, you talking about like arena, right?
Arena, yeah, yeah.
Okay. What
See, the only thing that separates indoor and arena is the rules.
what's the difference?
So they both 8-on-8. So arena league allows it's 3-on-3. You got three wide receivers, you got three linemen, quarterback, and it's 3-on-3, and only one guy can go in motion. The indoor league, the IFL, is almost like outdoor football. It's 8-on-8, but it's almost like outdoor football. You can have four DBs in the AFL. Majority of everything is like it's almost man to man. But in the IFL, you actually got four. You got four DBs, and it's just the rules would make it different. You got two guys that can go in motion. Still the same.
Is it feel smaller or is it the same?
Nah, they both 50 yards with the wall around. They both 50. Now, some of the games can be you can have some high score games, but it's more I think you can play more defense in the indoor football league because you can actually have four DBs and it gets a little tighter inside there. But yes.
And what's your social media?
On Instagram, the Team Fuse Camp.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter is the same thing, the Team Fuse Camp. And my Facebook is capital THE is capital THE, and then team is the team is first, and then the back of it is Fuse Camp. Like my last name is Fuse Camp.
All right, man. I want to say thank you for coming through politicking with me.
Man, I appreciate you, man. I really do, man. When he sent me the information and told me the time that you were going to be Moby, told me the time that you were going to be interviewing me, and I actually, when I was at work, I had some time, and I actually went and like Googled and find like the page and looked and seen. And I was like, you done interviewed some big time people.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you, man.
I want to say, man, I wish you the best. I hope it keeps going for you. And if CFL, if that happens, hit me up again so we got to keep tracking you, seeing how you doing.
Yeah, you can. You can follow me, and I'll follow you back and keep up with me, man. I'm going to give it my all, man. I'm hungry, man. Like I'm hungry.